In this segment, we're going to look at one more way of resizing column widths within a subform. I've opened up a database called BTS 168 Quiz Griggs. This is a copy of an old database that I have sitting around, and it's a good example of resizing column widths within a subform when the column widths are really too wide to accommodate the form is too narrow to accommodate the width of the columns in the subform. If I were to resize these column widths appropriately, there wouldn't be enough room to see anything else. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to close this subform, and I'm going to go take this main form and go take a look at the subform, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You say no to this, open up the subform, and we can see that there are a lot of fields. Right now there are we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. They're quite wide. The activity is quite wide. The start rating, second rating, final rating. When I get this much on the screen, it's going to be on a form, it's going to be hard to read. So we're going to look at doing this a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'll go back into my main form. And this changes that I made there, oops, wrong form. The changes that I made are going to already be reflected in this main form. But instead of resizing the columns so that they're wide, I'm going to resize the row height so that it's taller. So I'm going to grab the row height and simply bring it down until it comes to the next line, right under the 2. Now if you resize it that way, where you bring it down to the next line or the next 2 lines if you need 3 lines, you'll always come up with pretty much a double space or a triple space, that sort of thing. If you just kind of drag it down and don't pay attention to the next column, you could be cutting off parts of your letters. So I'll show you that again. I'm going to resize this row height back to the standard height. I'm going to grab the column line, the row line, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag until I bring it down to the next line right below it. That's going to give me basically a double space here. And I'm going to bring this column width in until it looks appropriate. And what I have discovered is that activity 2 is my longest data value. So if I resize for it properly, everything else is going to be okay. So I can bring this in just a little further, and I think that's about it. I'm going to grab this one, and I'll get here into layout view to get a hold of this, and I'll bring it out. Okay, you see how it turned white here? That's because what we're looking at now is the subform control. The subform control is a window that allows the main form or the subform to show through this window onto the main form. So we're looking at the window. It'll come back. All I have to do is switch views. I'll say yes to this. Switch views back to layout view, and there it is. And now I see that I don't quite have enough room. When I have this subform control wide enough, this horizontal scroll bar will go away. So let's bring it out a little bit further. And there we go. So in this particular one, I'll say yes here. This particular one, instead of resizing the column widths and making them very wide and making this otherwise narrow form hard to read, I changed the row heights. This is the end of this segment.